Hey my friends, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Melissa, and I have for you a week's worth of meal ideas that will be great for your meal planning. So make sure that you stay till the end so that you don't miss any of it, because these are really easy and really delicious meals. Sunday nights are usually our fend for yourself nights or our easy meal nights. So tonight I'm making grilled cheese and tomato soup, but my son doesn't like tomato soup, so I make him chicken noodle soup. But this is always one of those super comforting go-to meals that are just so satisfying and so good and super quick and easy. The meal this night was using Jiffy Corn Muffin Mix, and I was doing a collaboration with a friend of mine. Her name is Ann over at Ann's Southern Home, and we put together a video collaboration of recipes using Jiffy Corn Muffin Mix. So I will have that video linked below as well as her channel. But anyway, tonight I was making a barbecue pulled pork sort of tamale pie. And so this is the pork I'm using, and it's not usually the pork I normally cook with. I usually use like the Jack Daniel's pork, but anyway, I used this one because it was less expensive. But I'm not going to go through, the full length of how to make it, because I will have the video linked below. But it is really easy, just using the pork that comes in a package, and then mixing the Jiffy Corn Muffin Mix just to package directions. I did add a few extra little seasonings just to kind of bump up the meat just a little bit, since it's not the usual meat that I normally used. But it made a really good meal. It was very, very easy to put together and really, really tasty. And I served it with some salad as well as some baked beans. So that was dinner this night. Tonight for dinner, it was requested that we have chicken and dumplings. So I am making chicken and dumplings, and I remember when I was younger, when I was a little girl, I can remember my grandmother seemed like she was in the kitchen all day to make chicken and dumplings. Well, not me. I'm just putting some shredded chicken that I had in the freezer. I'm gonna let it cook into the water. I may add a little bit of chicken bouillon to it. I really am not a chicken broth fan, but the bouillon isn't so bad. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some chicken bouillon in here. Really, the only seasoning I'm gonna add is some salt, not very much salt because of the bouillon, and some pepper, and I may add a little bit of onions. Yeah, let me go ahead and add some minced onion. Not much though. That's some minced onion. I'm gonna let this chicken cook until it is broken apart, and then I'll start adding the biscuit mix. And actually, I only have crescent rolls, so this is gonna have to do. So I'm just gonna roll this out, slice it up, and put this in here and call it a day. All right, the chicken is broken up and the water is coming to a boil, so I am gonna go ahead and just start putting these strips in here. And you know what, if they don't puff up like biscuit dough would, then that's fine. I really You know, there's just some days when it's fine. You just kind of go with it. I think it should be fine though. And I will say, using the crescent dough, if it does puff up good, the crescent dough is much easier to just roll out and slice through than taking each biscuit and smoothing it out, making it thin, cutting it. So if this works, this may be the move right here. So anyway, just gonna get these all in here and let them cook for a little bit. The crescent roll dough seems to be working pretty nicely. It's thickening up, starting to thicken up, but I do want to make it just a little bit thicker, so I add just a little bit of heavy whipping cream. I just had just a little bit left in my carton, so I used it, and I'm just gonna let this finish cooking just for a few more minutes until the cream starts to thicken everything up, and it thickened up really nicely. This is what we had with the chicken and dumplings. We had green beans and some cornbread, and the dumplings actually turned out really good. So this was a good dinner, and my son was very pleased. All right, so last week I was watching one of my friends' What's for Dinner video. Her name is Megan. Over at Megan's channel. I'll have her channel linked below. But she made a homemade hamburger helper. And you know what? It just looked really good. So I decided that that's what we're having for dinner tonight. So thanks, Megan. I'm gonna just go ahead and get my ground beef started cooking, and I'll go from there. Now, I did find a recipe, and I will have the link to it linked down below, but it does call for onions, but you know I love my minced onions, and I don't feel like cutting up an onion. So if you're looking for a quick 30-minute meal, then this is it, especially if you use minced onion and not regular onion. But anyway, I am also using extra lean ground beef, so I probably won't have to drain any grease off of it. So there's that too. And when I say I'm following her recipe, I mean I'm loosely following it. But I've got the onions stirred in. I'm gonna add garlic to taste, honestly, because you know we do love our garlic. And you add some chili powder. I think maybe like about a teaspoon of chili powder. So, and get that stirred up. I'm also gonna add about 2 tablespoons. It says heaping tablespoons. So 2 heaping tablespoons of tomato paste. Now she calls for 1 cup of elbow macaroni, which I may add just a little bit more. All right. And 3 cups of beef broth, which I have my bouillon. So I'm gonna add the water first. Get that stirred up in there. All right, and then I'm gonna add the beef bouillon. Get that in there. And I'm gonna stir that up and let that dissolve. Now you're gonna wanna let this come up to a boil, and when it starts to boil, you want to turn it down to a medium heat and stir it every few minutes just so that it doesn't stick, and to also make sure that you have enough water until the pasta is cooked. Now that it's come to a boil, I'm going to give it a quick stir. Make sure all that pasta is covered. I'm going to turn it down to a medium heat, kind of a low simmer. And while this is cooking, I'm going to grate some cheese. Alright. Looks like the elbow macaroni is just about done. So now I'm just going to add the cheese. And get that stirred up. Now that the cheese is melted, it is time for dinner. So I go ahead and serve this up with some salad, and I did boil some little mini corn on the cobs, and this was a really, really satisfying meal. Usually when I make French dip, I just use roast beef, but I decided to try it with this sirloin Philly steak, and I just put it in a skillet, kind of a deep skillet, because I'm going to use this au jus. Mix it with some water, pour that in there, let it cook. This is one of those meals that's just super easy, really takes very little effort to make. So I put this in the skillet with some pepper and just let it cook until the meat is done. And like I said, normally I use roast beef, and so I am not sure if I like the roast beef better or the sirloin, but I am gonna make this mayo mustard mix to put on the bread, and then with it I made a pasta salad, which I made a pasta salad in a previous What's for Dinner, but I added chicken, so with this one I just left the chicken out. So here is the French dip. The sirloin, using the sirloin, it does add a little bit of grease to the au jus dip, so that's the only thing I didn't like about this, but other than that, it was really good. It's Saturday night. It's been a super busy day, so I'm just making deli sliders for dinner this night, and I did cook up some bacon just to add to it, just to add a little extra layer of flavor. And I don't know why my lighting is acting weird. I don't know, it's been doing that lately, but anyway, I just I've done this before, so I will link the video to that in the description box below. But we had these were really good. Served them with some chips. Makes a great kind of meal for Saturday nights, football games, whatever. It's just a really easy and delicious meal. But anyway, that is all for this week. I hope that some of these recipes gave you some ideas for your meal planning. If you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would stick around by clicking the subscribe button and click the bell button so you don't miss any of my videos. And I will see you next time. Bye.